Anyway, Democracy 4. One thing I'm going to request, and this is one of these things that doesn't matter for like 99% of people who play a game, but as a streamer and stuff like that, it'd be awfully nice if the game didn't pause when you were tabbed out. Like, I still have it on my screen, I can still see it over here, but when it's not my focus, the game pauses. You don't get any sound. It also pauses the little visuals. So when we're streaming, you might have the sound like sort of stop and start again as I tab in and out. And I apologize for that. There's plenty of games that are like that. It would be nice if this was not one of them. If there was an option somewhere over here to do that, that would be lovely. I'm going to bring down the music a little bit. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do that and bring down the master volume some. There we go. Now, because the sound effects, they're nice, but they're not the most critical part of everything that's going on over here. Dude. Hey, we got a hype train going already. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, let's see here. J.M. Bostwick, thank you very much for your contribution to the Whiskey and Chocolate Fund. Love the irony of you unilaterally deciding that we play Democracy. I mean, of course. We're just playing at Democracy. Everyone knows that there's nothing democratic about what goes on over here. So excited to see it. Thanks as always for the great content. Thank you very much, J.M. Bostwick. Much appreciated. Also, shoot out some resubs right now. We've got Eurastus, 23 months, nearly a 2-year Twitch anniversary. Warmore with the lucky 13 months. The all-powerful Sadist at 4 months. Scavrat at 68 months, who says, my subscription is almost nice. Almost. Servant Unix at 51 months. Captain Cannonball at 15 months. Lord Gravewish at 31 months. Sounds like a D&D character. Shab the Wolf at 2 months. Hey, Quill, love the content. Never miss a stream. Again, continue your Canada-based content for a long time. We'll see. Introducing Canada to the world a little bit at a time. Weird Darkness at 16 months, thank you as well. And now for today's episode of I Should Be Filling Out Job Applications. Well, you can fill out applications while you watch. It's going to be great. Desvisage has got a full deck of cards at 52 months. Says, hello everyone, been entirely too long, hope all is well. Reptile at 17 months, just 1 month to go for that magic number indeed. Thanks for all the entertainment, really loving the CK3 run, which caused me to buy it, damn you. CK3... It's got to be the strongest release of any Paradox game. I have to think it is. I mean, it's a big, giant, complex system, so there's, little tweaks and balances and things that we want looked at, which they are working on. It's got to be the best Paradox game at release, and, massive amounts of content as well. It's crazy. Phenomeноx at 53 months. Phenomeноx, slow day at work, get to enjoy some cool shenanigans, and there will be some of those. Husam at 24 months, a 2-year Twitch anniversary, who says, hooray, Democracy for all. B. Wheatley at 41 months with the hype. Artorias at 64 months, nice power of 2 number there. Bob the Hun at 58 months, who says, excited for more Democracy. Not we really know what that looks like in real life these days in the old US of A. Oh, Grant TD at 4 months. Ooh, a new game I'll end up buying. Yeah, I can't remember how much it runs for Democracy. They're never that pricey, so hopefully you'll find it to be a lot of fun. Yeah, the 1.3 patch CK3 was excellent, and I know they've got more and more in the pipeline. That's the one thing with Paradox. They're not just gonna sit on a title. 5 years from now, there'll still be CK3 patches and content coming out, which is pretty amazing, I think. Already a problem with the UI, no separate volume slider to hear the screams of population dying. Jeez. Alright, let's kick into Democracy 3. So, this is technically a pre-early access build. Game goes on sale for early access tomorrow. As a result, not every country is yet implemented in the game. But I figured we did Canada a go over here. So currently, in the build that I'm on, and I don't know if this is going to be the same that you guys get tomorrow on early access, we've got the US of A, we've got the UK, we've got Germania, we've got Frankia, and we've got Kanukistan over here available. And you can see there's some little ghostly image. To me, that looks like Australia, Italy, and... Is this Spain? It's weird with, I'm assuming that's just Portugal cut out, right? It's funny with, you remove some of the geographic indicators in an area, and you're like, wait a minute. But yeah, that must be Spain, right? Without Portugal put in there. It's the only thing that makes sense. But yeah, we'll play as Canada over here. Canada is a federal parliamentary democracy with a constitutional monarchy. The Prime Minister is elected. Formerly a colony of Great Britain, the new nation of Canada first became a democracy in 1867. In 1919, women won the vote, but it wasn't until 1960 when all Canadian citizens, irrespective of ethnicity, could vote and universal suffrage became law. The population actually has officially crossed over to 38 million over the course of 2020. Somewhere along the way, we officially crossed over to 38 million population, size about 10 million square kilometers. Religion, about 70% Christian. It is interesting that a quarter of Canadians considered themselves to be unaffiliated, which, yeah, I wonder how that compares to nations. I mean, I'm assuming, you know, when we're talking about, like, Northern Europeans, I think there's a fair amount of irreligiousness kind of present there. But, yeah, I'd be curious how this compares to, could we compare? I don't know if we've got the same stats. Yeah, for every country, they've got slightly different stats. I was going to say, I wonder if we can get some of those stats comparing, you know, the UK, Canada, and that in terms of religion balance. Exports! Oil, wood, refined fuel, gold, metals, and gems. We are the world leader in having the longest coastline, high quality of life, transparency of government, and business, which are things that I very appreciate. I try to not to be sort of, you know, blindly patriotic. I think that, you know, that's actually a big issue in our world. But I do think that the quality of life here is pretty good, and a big part of it is because, you know, transparency of government. And I think that's like the one thing I'm most interested in real life. I don't claim to know what the best economic policy is. I don't know what the, you know, the right target numbers for immigrations are. I don't know anything like that. But what I feel is that the process of governance has to be held to an exceptionally high standard, with the theory that, you know, the people with the best ideas at least have a chance to have a shot at influencing government policy, as opposed to it being, you know, sort of locked down and people left out of governance and things like that. That's like the one thing I care the most about, because I'm just an idiot and I don't know much about anything else. National obsessions are maple syrup, ice hockey, politeness, and diversity. I mean, I guess if you're going to stereotype, sure. I would say it's not that Canadians are really that polite. It's mostly that we're kind of shy and repressed. And that comes out as a bit of a politeness. Just like, similarly, I say that to foreigners, Americans often have a reputation for being sort of rude, and I don't think that's true at all. I think it's just that the standard is just to be so extroverted. You walk into, like, a convenience store in, like, the south of the US, and the lady behind the counter wants to know your entire life story, what you had for breakfast, you know, the name of all your kids, all those things, and I think it can be intimidating sometimes. So I don't think it's really a difference in politeness, just extrovertedness. Yeah, just like Scandinavia, exactly. Canada and Scandinavia have a little bit in common that way in terms of, listen, just give me some personal space, okay? Groovy. Hey, cool man! Yes, you're living rent-free this month. I hope for good reasons. See what you're saying, Maine is similar to that? Maybe. I've never been to Maine. I've always wanted to go. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and load up Canada here. Now, unlike previous versions of Democracy, there are 3 parties here. As far as I know, every previous version of Democracy was just 2 parties. Here, we do have 3 available. It does randomize the name. There's a bunch of you know, false party names, fake party names over here in this pull-down menu, and of course, you can type your own. What is our party going to be called? Ain't no party like Petra Party, because the Petra Party knows how to rock. Because the Petra Party's way underground. The Belgians, the Pajama Party, the Popular People's Front. Chocolatists, pacifists, People's Petra Party. New Democratic Party is an actual real party name, so of course we're not going to choose that. Spiritualist Party, the Tupperware Party! The Canadian Beaver Party. Oh man. Stand from Timmins! Yeah! Representing Northern Ontario over here. Free buses. The Waffle Coalition. I love it. The Waffle Coalition. There we are. So that's going to be us. What about the opposing party names? Do we want to make up our own opinion party names, or opposition party names? Well, we'll go with the Dominion and like the Jem'Hadar. No. The Meth Party. The Pancake Party. Oh, because of maple syrups and whatnot. The Martin Party? Oh, there are racers. Alright, a lot of the Pancake Pacifists, okay. Come on. I've got stupid fingers today. Can't type. And another opposition party name. So we got waffles, we've got pancakes. Should we have something about crepes? Serial killers. Bacon barristers. Omelette oligarchy. Crepe capitalists. Okay. So the Waffle Coalition, the Pancake Pacifists, and the Crepe Capitalists. We don't have an alliteration, but that's maybe okay. Although maybe we can... The waffle, something with a W. I don't know. There's not as many things. All right, we got the three-party checklist on. I think I'm going to leave all these sliders where they are for default for Canada over here. The Tin Party's pretty good, too. Crepe culture. The Waffle Way. French Toast Party. Ex-separatists. I think we'll go with this. So we'll be the Waffle Coalition. That's going to be fine. And we'll get it started. Should be the Waffle Coalition de Waffle. Oh, yes, of course. The party name should have been bilingual. What was I thinking? Congratulations on your election victory. Welcome to your new job as Prime Minister. The lives of all 37 million and change citizens are now in your hands. As you will imagine, there are a number of situations and concerns that you will need to deal with as soon as possible, while keeping an eye on long-term improvement of our citizens' quality of life. Plus, do not forget that you face re-election in 5 years, so we need to monitor the opinion polls and our party membership. Good luck! So, at the start of the game, our GDP is pretty good, education's fairly good, not much crime, not much poverty. I mean, compared to some places, I guess. Partially wondering if it might be a little more rose-colored than appropriate, but sure. Recent election, party won with a majority of 10%, gives you some political power to implement your policies. Begin term of office. All right, so here's the interface of the game, which can seem very intimidating if you've never seen it before, but actually it turns into be fairly intuitive when you get going. The UI has changed since the last little look-see that we did at Democracy 4. Also, I just realized I'm going to be blocking some policies where I am. Maybe if I go... We could do something like this, because it'll hide some of the opinions over here, but not much, and it's still color-coded. Let me bring this down a little scooch and see something like that. Yeah, health isn't great. Obesity either. Yeah, too much chocolate and whiskey, and mostly, I think I'm going to blame Poutine, personally. Obesity is not just a problem, it's 100% maxed out. So, on the map here, what you need to know about the color coding that you're seeing here. Everything that's in white, this is a policy that is running. Everything that is blue is sort of a result, effectively, of all those policies. For example, one of the biggest blue dots over here is GDP, so gross domestic product, how much money the country is making, basically. And so this is not something we control directly. Instead, here's everything that is affecting the GDP, and here's everything that GDP affects. It is, like, the single most dominant stat, I guess, in terms of, you know, most of the money and the economy that you're going to be running is going to be related to the GDP. So the GDP isn't really something you can tweak directly, especially with everything involved. Some of the smaller things might be, for example, the telecoms industry. So again, this is not a policy we affect directly, but there's somewhat fewer inputs right now. So the GDP and technology levels in our country are having an effect on the telecoms industry, which then has an effect on other things down the way. Currently, our telecoms industry is considered to be fairly strong, a little bit above 50%. It's being positively affected by our decent GDP and decent technology. The high-level telecoms industry is actually bringing down the membership in the socialism and trade unionist factions. So there's the opinion. So the trade unionists are a little bit upset about the power of the telecoms industry. So that's their opinion over here. But in addition to that, the membership, doesn't say membership for socialism, but the little icons over here should indicate membership. One way or another is a little bit of a UI issue over here, but I'm pretty sure this is affecting membership over here as opposed to happiness. I'm pretty certain. So I think there's just some off text over there. Nationalize the telecom industry, we might be able to do that, actually. All right. Over on the left is our popularity different factions. So one thing, is it showing up okay on stream? It looks like it is. Good. So in the background, so let's say the capitalist over here, you see there's like a light blue background. The more full this light blue line is, the more people in our country considered themselves to be capitalists. Okay, so it looks to me at a glance about 60% of the country consider themselves to be capitalists, and then the colored line over here is their opinion of me. So these capitalists are kind of they don't love me, but they don't hate me. We can click on this as well and see a few things. Oh, like that. Yeah, so percent of population, about 61% of Canadians fall into the capitalist category. And then we can find out some information about their stats. We can also see what is affecting their opinion of us. Our high GDP currently is making the capitalists fairly happy. They don't like the fact that we have any corporation tax at all, really, that we provide child benefits, because, you know, that's socialist kind of stuff. So they don't like income tax either. They don't like rent controls. They just want to be able to do free, unrestricted business, regardless of whether or not that's, you know, for the greater good. Now, it is interesting, it's important to note, rather, that this has a correct sort of breakdown between different things. So, capitalists are opposed by socialists. So, if I squint... Socialists down here. Oh, I guess it's alphabetical. That makes sense. So, the socialists are down here. There's not as many of them over here. You can see the light blue bar isn't quite as full. Phenomox, thank you very much. I'll take a look at that in just a sec. But the socialists currently love me. So... you know, they will vote for me, which is great, but there's not maybe enough of them to win me the election. And no one is just a socialist. They're going to be a socialist plus a parent plus a patriot, you know? So everyone's going to be a slightly different combination of stuff. So to actually get the vote, I have to satisfy multiple categories over here. So that's the background. So capitalism, socialism are opposed. Conservative and liberals are opposed. There's a lot of times there's not a direct opposition. It's mostly like, for example, poor, middle income, and wealthy are different categories. They're not, you know, really directly opposed to each other, although I guess they mostly are. Can you increase the number of capitalists? I think so. So what was that? So first it was Phenomonox. Quill, you'll need to turn this into food magnate propaganda. Oh yeah. Well, yes, because of, you know, of our waffle coalition and our special Putin bribery that we've got going on. And Plaincoast, thank you as well. It's Motorsport Monday. Make sure to remove all speed limits. Now that would be interesting. We could go all Autobahn on Canada over here. Canada, twirling towards freedom. Okay, so that's sort of a glance. So those are the people that we are going to have to make happy. Obviously, everyone is in the everyone category. So that is always going to be filled over there. And this is a good barometer overall of how you're going to maybe do in the next election. So it looks like for us, if we sort here by membership, so the biggest group is liberals, and the vast majority of Canadians, almost 80%, consider themselves to be liberals. The second biggest is motorists, which makes sense. Canada's really big. There's not a lot of people here. We're really spread out. You gotta drive everywhere to do everything. At the same time, we've got a high percentage of people who consider themselves to be environmentalists, and they're pretty unhappy, possibly because of all the cars. I don't know. I don't know how you work that balance. Canada itself doesn't know how to work out that balance. Holy crap, Minifest! Thank you. Hey, Quill, after years of watching, I mean, I know you've been around for like 1,000 billion years. After years of watching, I just wanted to say thanks for all the great content, and I think I'm not alone when I say all the great games you made us buy just to play them right. What, by right, you mean not the way I play them? Is that it? I get it. It's fine. Greetings from Sweden. This is only T, so it's not a particularly dramatic one, but thank you very much, Manifest. And yeah, you've been around forever. Simple ban cars, free buses, trains, and bikes. Okay. So anyway, we got all the way down there, and then at the bottom are the people that we may not need to pander to directly. Not a lot of self-employed people, apparently. Not that many retired. Not that many people who consider themselves part of the hardcore patriot group. You know, there's not the same sort of level of jingoism and whatever here as in other countries that might exist out there. You know, it's a different style of pride. Very little religiosity over here. Less than 20% of the people consider themselves to be very religious, which is a big difference. If you compare playing Canada in democracy to playing USA in democracy, very, very, very different experience. This should make our life a lot easier because it's going to make us a lot easier for us to push what would be otherwise controversial scientific and societal laws and policies. But just because there's not a lot of them, and therefore they're not going to have a massive influence on the vote, it's important to note that there are other ways that they can come at you, because for every group there are these sort of protest groups. The ones at the top, these are the groups that will oppose you sort of politically. And then at the bottom, these are the radicalized versions of the same groups. And these will try to assassinate you if you piss them off so much. So even if we don't have any, for example, religious people in any significant number in the country, the ones that are there might still get radicalized and decide to shoot you in the face if you do a bad job. So you can lose the game in two different ways. First way is not get reelected. Second way is to be assassinated. You can counter the assassination, first of all, if you don't piss off people that much, but you can also counter it by enacting more security measures over here, which will keep you safe. But at what cost? Someone on Twitter asked if you play this game very authoritarian, and the answer is very much yes. I can't suspend elections, but other than that, we can go really crazy with certain draconian policies. All right, the biggest way we do things here is we're going to spend political capital to affect our policies. Now, the policies are the ones that are in white over here, and we can change the slider here to make the policies be very expanded or very minimized. Press freedom is very high currently. There is a cost in political capital to raise, lower, or even cancel some of these things. You can't cancel press freedom, like you could set it to the minimum, or which is basically 0. Some of these policies can just be stopped completely, and some of them are just, well, you can set the slider down to the bottom, but it doesn't like stop the same way. Press freedom isn't an active policy, right? It's not an active government program. It's a state. So that's why that one just doesn't go away. But some of the others might. Yeah. And then finally, the things in red are the major problems. These follow kind of special rules. Over here, so obesity over here is a problem that will be dramatically decreasing health, as well as increasing healthcare demand over here. Green is not necessarily good. Green just means an increase. So high levels of obesity are increasing the demand on the healthcare system, which is not something we actually want. And, you know, they're bringing down health over here. To get rid of the obesity epidemic, we have to bring the obesity stat from here down below the green. And every single one of these sort of disasters that are happening, they run the same way. They appear, like they always exist sort of in the background. They appear when they go over the red line, but they don't go away until they get under the green. So it's really bad when one of these kicks in, because it's much harder to eliminate it once it's here than just sort of prevent it from showing up in the first place. So they can be a big problem. And see here we got a little bit of a doctor strike apparently going on. That sucks. We got more ice cream chocolate. Oh, it's from Lingonberry Clown. Hey, Lingonberry. Are we going to do a pacifist fascism run or a liberal communist run? I don't know. I don't know what our policy is. I feel like the very first thing to do, though, might be to just build a giant wall and leave everyone out. There is a dark mode UI, yeah. So there's like dark mode, and then there's the Deuteranopia dark as well. I haven't been able to tell the difference. So this is the dark mode, and the other dark mode. I can't really tell the difference, but it does have the black background over here. Certainly a lot easier on the eyes, just sitting here. I don't know what shows up better on stream for you guys. I feel like the dark might be a better pick, though. But the walls to stop anyone from leaving. Yeah, I mean, it's just like the, you know, the wall in Germany. 30 years ago, gone. And, you know, it was real dual purpose here. Oh, it's for red-green color blindness. Yeah, because it's making these things orange instead of red. Oh, well, that's pretty awesome. I'll just go regular dark then for us. Yeah, it's better in dark mode. Okay. So, most people, it is a democracy. Most people seem to prefer dark mode, so we'll go with that, unless I choose to do otherwise, because it's only democracy in name, and really I'm a secret dictator. Okay, so the big thing we've got is our political capital to spend. Now, currently, we're getting a certain amount. We're getting 11.43 per turn from our ministers, and we get a bit more from our popularity and majority over here. So we currently have 16, and yeah, we'll get about 16 per turn over here. Now, we might be able to get more. We've got our cabinet over here, and I was going to say, our cabinet are not perfect. Because each cabinet member gives us a certain amount of political capital. I think we should start off by just doing a reshuffle, which means we're not going to have a lot of political capital to spend on this first turn, but we'll get a lot more going forward, and I think it's going to be a pretty good idea. So I'm going to reshuffle the cabinet. I'm going to fire everyone, and then we're going to reset everything over there. So, foreign policy, we're going to choose first. Now, each one of our possible candidates here has 3 meters: loyalty, experience, and campaigning. So loyalty plus experience tends to lead to higher political capital generated by this person, right? The more loyal they are and the more experienced they are, they've got that. Campaigning will help with actually campaigning, which is going to be useful. In addition to that, Different people have a different preference. So over here, Simone Cote has foreign policy as one of her interests. So these are the ones that she's going to be the best at performing at, and I believe it helps to keep their loyalty higher as well. Also, each one of these has sympathies with certain political groups. By picking someone that is sympathetic to that political group, it will give you a bigger kick to that political group, but will also make this person potentially lose loyalty if those groups aren't happy. Currently, the socialists are happy, which is good. The motorists are not brilliantly happy. There's a lot of motorists, actually, that would be pretty good. I find if you sort by loyalty, generally speaking, the people who would give you the